morning. I think we're gonna get back on track. Woohoo! This weekend is gonna be busy. I'm doing a Body of 9 workshop, so I'm glad I'm well rested. I have lots to do. And my husband is gone this weekend, which I'm really sad about, but it's his birthday weekend and he's doing the Spartan race up in Kalispell, so I'm really excited for him for that. And next week I have 2 days that I've set aside to work on a project that I'm not doing clients. I'm working on a project, and Aster has been crazy this morning. She has really been like, woo! I think she likes that I'm downstairs in the morning because I've changed doing daily devotionals to be where I can look outside and look at the birds. And if it wasn't so horribly backlit, I'd probably show you the view, but I'm not going to do that. Okay, so we're going to start with Celtic Devotional today. And since it's Friday, we're going to do Friday. Kindler of dawns, spirit of summer, I rise up with you under winds and waters, under hills and heavens this summer day. I illuminate my soul with the gift of sunlight, ray of love, ray of light, ray of life. Be upon my heart, my brow, my limbs. May my soul be preserved from morning's break till twilight's falling. What are you doing back there, you silly goose? Hearer of prayers, you know what moves my heart. Before I set forth to accomplish the deeds of this day, I tune my heart to your music. May I learn to trust your constant help. Faithful companion, teacher of my soul, all souls take the way that they best know. Lead me where my soul shall be inspired to seek fresh transformations as I search for the answer to the issues of this day. I dedicate my energies to the benefit of the universe this day. When enthusiasm wanes, when life seems dull and flavorless, may the Holy Ones send fresh inspiration on their way. As the birds are raising their nestlings and the young animals learn the patterns of life through play, I ask for that same playfulness to enliven my life and bring lightness of heart to those whom I love. All things living have their rest and ending. May all who are worn to patterns of predatory vengeance, of terrorism, vendetta, mafia, feud be released from the heritage of hatred. Which leads nicely into today's card. This is past life, present power. May the many spiritual faces of you, When the soul is growing in service to humanity, this is why I'm getting new headphones, because these ones don't fit. Where was I? Okay, when the soul is growing in service to humanity, in service to the great feminine and her call that all beings be healed and free, it gathers internal resources to assist on the path. These resources include powers and gifts from other lifetimes. You are currently integrating past life abilities, and you are guided by the oracle of past life, present power, to be open to shifting internally and your experience of your own levels of power and spiritual ability. I love that. The talents, abilities, and powers wish to be restored to you now from past incarnations. This will help with your path. You will often be able to recognize this because you feel some instant fascination or deep interest for a culture, philosophy, or heritage, even a place on Earth or in the universe, which is deeply compelling. This is your intuitive recognition, and the part of your soul connected with this passionate interest is being drawn into integration. There can be emotions, feelings, and phobias or fears that temporarily arise. You may even find your taste for food and clothing or sleep or habits change quickly and noticeably for a time and maybe long term. No, get down off there. Get down, Astra. You can't be up here. I've got too much up here, including my tea, which you're trying to... Anyway. These can be signs of a past life energy being integrated. Once it is digested, you can feel more like yourself again, but expanded and more in a whole way. You will just like yourself more. You will be more like yourself, just more stable, more full, and more home in your own being. It is a lovely state of enjoyment, which makes many ups and downs of integration process more bearable. So this is the thing. I've talked about this for years. When you have past life integration, there's layers of this. So you have your past lives that are part of your blueprint. Those are the pieces that you're pulling from. They become part of your subconscious, your consciousness, kind of how you integrate in the world. And usually you're pulling only from pieces of those past lives, especially if it has anything to do with karma. So you're working through particular karma. You may have worked through an entire lifetime of karmic actions, but you're working through the tail bit of letting go of those connections and with certain people, okay? Then you have your past lives that are part of your outside consciousness. That's your higher self, the part that isn't in your blueprint, but you have access to it if you need it. Sometimes it can be distracting, so you got to be real careful with that. But the interesting part is all of those outside past lives, those higher self past lives, the parts of who you are, depending on what your blueprint patterning is, if you're here specifically to help other people, or your past life karmic integration is almost finished, sometimes you can start integrating other past life memories into your selfness. And it can be as subtle as all of a sudden you have you may have always had a deep connection to Greece and Greek culture, and then all of a sudden you develop a passion for Greek Mediterranean food, and then you decide that one day you're going to go to Greece, and then one day you do go to Greece. You go on a cruise, and then you go to Greece, and then you go back to Greece 3 or 4 different times. And then all of a sudden that interest kind of wanes. Not that anything happened that made you disinterested. It was like, oh, now I know all the things I need to know about Greece, about yourself and your connection to Greece and that place. And that interest kind of goes to the side. And next thing you know, you're passionate about Turkey or Morocco or Egypt or China or Japan or what have you. Some of those weird come and go interests could genuinely be past life incarnation, assimilation opportunities, personalities, interests, quirks, gifts, things that you went through in that gift that are giving you power now in this gift, useful tools, memories that, they're maybe not memories as in, oh, yesterday I went to the store and got bleach. It could be, I have a vague memory of absolutely loving sunsets in Greece. And now that I've been to Greece, I can say, yes, I love the sunsets in Greece and it makes me happy. I actually had something similar. I went to Croatia many years ago and I got to swim in the Adriatic Ocean. And I had an absolute unexplainable passion of studying Croatian history and that region. And I swam in the ocean, had a beautiful experience in a little village in Croatia, came back to the States about 9 months later and did a deep dive. I did a deep dive for about 6-7 months on the countries around the Adriatic Ocean and their history going back millennia. Why? Because it was a past life integration thing. It had to do with the past lives that I lived in that area, the traveling that I did, my jobs, my gifts, all the things that came from that past life. I now have integrated that information and I don't need it anymore because it's now a part of me. And that's the thing with past lives, this card, which is past lives, present power. Some of your past lives are into your blueprint. And those are the ones that you don't generally have like past life regressions on. Generally speaking, you don't have a lot of memories from them. If you hear about those past lives, they might sound vaguely familiar, but the lessons of those lives are what you're drawing on in your current life. They have to do with your life theme. They have to do with karma that you're working on. They have to do with skills that you need in this life. They become part of you. Those outside lives you can draw from and draw gifts and integration process from. But you don't have to. And you don't need to spend a lot of time and effort and worry about the karma of those other lives because they're not written into your blueprint this time around. You can get really sidetracked with other lives. I had a client, and I use this client all the time as an example. She had come to me absolutely obsessed about being a priestess in a past life in this temple, and she had a hypnotic past life regression, and she kind of dove into the bottom of the well, and her entire life fell apart. And she needed to let go of trying to work on that life because that life's business was already done. It wasn't part of her blueprint. But she had gotten distracted and hazardously close to getting off of her blueprint, which is why her life had been falling apart, because her guides were very much trying to tell her, stop, 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 please don't get sidetracked. And when she came to me, we talked about the difference between the past lives that are in your other consciousness, your higher self, the part of you that isn't necessarily needed for this go around, and the past lives that are written into the blueprint. And those are the past lives you're here to work on or call from or use. And if they're part of a karmic wheel, if they're part of your blueprint, those are the ones to pay attention to, because those are the ones that you can actually untangle those karmic threads and release. So she got back on track. She and her husband got back together, remarried. She got back her dream job. They had lost their house. They got a new house. Her children who quit talking to her started talking to her again. Like, the repair didn't take long to happen. The integration part didn't take long to happen once she realized that was not a past life she had to worry about karma. She was worried so much about repairing that one that she wasn't living the one she was in. And rather, she needed the integration process of taking all of the last 10 years of her slowly working towards getting off of her blueprint and getting totally distracted, and integrating that awareness into this life, and then working on the blueprint in this life. So there's complexity to past lives. It's not as straightforward as people think it is. Oh, if I just remember my past lives, I can work on my karma and it'll go away. Be careful where you're looking. And if you go too far out rather than within the blueprint, you can get really distracted and hazard getting off your blueprint. So it's really important to not be afraid of your past lives. Allow your natural blueprint and past life bubbling up to naturally occur, because it will occur in people naturally. The things that you need as a part of your past lives, when they're part of your blueprint to bubble up and integrate, they will happen naturally. And those natural interests and sidebar journeys are part of the integration process to give you the tools you need to accomplish the work that you need to accomplish in this life, especially if you're not here for yourself and you're here for others. And if you're working on karma and getting out of the whirlpool, there are many past lives you can draw on for integration to help you with that journey. But if you get sidetracked with not staying on the blueprint, your guides will let you know. Stuff happens, and it's clearly in opposition to what you're supposed to be doing. So the tarot card for today is Osiris, Son of Sword, the element air, or the Knight of Swords. And that is ambition, action-oriented, fast thinking. So past life, present power integrates with that in the idea that, you know, Osiris was reborn, right? He was taken from pieces and reborn. Or I have that wrong. Anyway, but Osiris was very much, okay, see, now I've gotten sidetracked with a totally different thought, sorry. The tarot card, has to do with movement. It has to do with being ambitious, going towards a goal. Look at your past lives with the idea that those past lives give you tools to complete and work on your blueprint. And that's what I meant by it integrates. And just ignore my comments about Osiris and rebirth, because I am 100% sure I have something sideways on that. But my brain is not there. I am on other things. So I have to get ready to go or I'm going to be late. So have a beautiful day. Blessed be, and I'll see you in prayer.